Far North Queensland is preparing to welcome vaccinated international travellers back for the first time since borders closed over 2 years ago. The first flight, a Singapore Airlines plane, will touch down on Monday afternoon. Joining me live now for more on this is Tourism Tropical North Queensland CEO. CEO Mark Olsen. Thank you for your time this evening, Mark. Now, no doubt this is hugely welcomed by tourism operators up there, seeing that first flight back on Monday.
Yeah, we can't wait to have Singapore Airlines back again. They've been a huge supporter to us right through the pandemic, connecting Cairns with the world for our freight. But international tourism injected over $1 billion a year into this regional economy and supported about 7,500 jobs. So we really have missed having our international visitors back. On a good day, we would normally be hosting about 17,000 a day. We've got just a few hundred at the moment. So we're really looking forward to seeing Singapore Airlines back 3 days a week coming into Cairns. And that's the beginning of a whole lot of new services coming directly back into Cairns.
So where else do you expect these other international bookings to come from?
Yeah, at the moment, a lot of our interest is coming out of Europe and the UK, and they can definitely connect directly with Cairns through the Singapore Airlines services. We're also seeing our Bali flights will be back in May, our Japan flights are back in June, and hopefully New Zealand before July. At this stage, they're back in July. And that'll also connect us then with the west coast of the United States of America. So pre-COVID, we had about 6,000 direct seats a week coming into Cairns. The Singapore service brings about 600 a week, so about 10% of what we had previously. And we're really looking forward to seeing that number climb. And certainly the announcement on Friday of the lifting of the pre-departure vaccination requirements and testing requirements will really help destinations like ours for the leisure visitor because it has been quite complex and it is a bit expensive, particularly for families who are looking to come in to get that pre-departure PCR test. So we're really pleased to see that one will be lifted on the 18th of April and really hoping we can see the numbers after winter really start to climb. But we're looking forward to a busy domestic Easter and a really busy domestic winter.
And just back to when international airports in Australia reopened, we saw most of them actually reopen over a month ago. So how has this delay impacted Far North Queensland? Have you seen some of those tourists that have, say, flown into Sydney or Brisbane, have they come up north?
Yeah, little bits and pieces. We've seen a little bit of visitation coming through. We had some operators reporting some international visitors from Japan, a place that we have a really strong connection with in Cairns. So that was noteworthy. As I said, normally we have about 17,000 visitors a day, and we're down to a few hundred at the moment. Certainly working holiday makers and our international students are back. But without having those direct services, we know that visitors would much prefer to come directly into the destination. So Monday's news is really the beginning of the international recovery for Cairns and the Great Barrier Reef, the beginning of $1 billion re-injection of tourism into our community, and one that really supports a lot of jobs and the connectivity of Cairns with the rest of the world for business.
And just finally, Mark, we are heading into a federal election. We saw a $60 million tourism announcement made by the Prime Minister just last week, $15 million of that to go towards attracting visitors to the Great Barrier Reef. How much are tourism operators up there looking at the federal election in terms of impacting the economy and helping it along?
Yeah, there's no doubt that tourism is a really important part of this community. 1 in 5 jobs here in our community is supported by tourism, and the tourism industry has been really very well supported by the federal government, and our local member Warren Inch has been a really strong advocate for reminding all levels of government just how important tourism has been. Things like JobKeeper and the Zoos and Aquarium support package all provided a really important role in keeping our businesses. But the announcement on Tuesday last week, or this week I should say, by the Prime Minister of $60 million for international regional recovery, 15 million specifically for Tourism Tropical North Queensland and the Great Barrier Reef, is a real injection of confidence. And we heard from operators, the phone started calling the very next day from many of our international inbound partners, really keen to reconnect and looking at the flight schedule to bring visitors back into Cairns. So it's really already provided a great injection. It'll be one that'll be closely watched. We're looking forward to seeing the budget on Tuesday night and seeing those funds confirmed and seeing that Cairns and the Great Barrier Reef can get back into doing what it's done so well for the last 30 years. And that's really leading the Australian tourism story.
Certainly, Mark Olsen from Tourism Tropical North Queensland, thank you for your time this afternoon and all the best with seeing those tourists come back in from Monday.